I was having a conversation with someone recently about the biblical reference of how we inherit the sins of our father or foreparents. Now, it sparked a very interesting dialogue, very provocative dialogue, which you guys know I love to do. And one of the things that I pointed out to this individual is that we love to embrace and talk about and magnify the greatness that our forefathers or foreparents had brought unto the world. And we love to revel in and celebrate the inheritance that makes us feel good and proud. But just as we take what we call good, there's a lot of not so good mixed in there. And so the proverbial or the rhetorical question is, why are we so prone to accept a positive inheritance and not so much the negative, especially if that inheritance is perpetuating ignorance, oppression, suppression, unfairness, inequality? Now, I am not a religious person. I left religion behind many lifetimes ago, but that does not mean that I did not learn from those schools of thought. As I always say, we simply go through different experiences, different perspectives, perceptions, and we take what resonates and we leave the rest behind. So for me, the word sin has a religious reference to it, but in gist, sin basically means error or mistakes. And so we cannot continue to fool ourselves in thinking and assuming that our ancestors did not make mistakes, because clearly when we look around the world and we look at different forms of systems within the world, we clearly see that there are mistakes, because as long as there is suffering, pain, inequality, and injustices in the world, and there are people who benefit from that, we have a problem. So those who benefit from such things cannot continue to use the line, well, I wasn't alive then, I didn't do it. Excuse me, let me get a little more comfortable here. We can't use the excuse that, well, I wasn't here, I didn't do it, but enjoy the fruits of our foreparents' labor or injustices or inequalities. Or better yet, deny the repercussions and the suffering that others are enduring as a result of what our ancestors did. Now let me go a little deeper. I'm going to explain to you guys why we have to look at this from a more personal accountability perspective. Now, I've said time and time and time again, we are multidimensional. There are multiple layers to us. And so, because of this, on a physical plane, we have what we call genetics and DNA, naturally. Genetics basically records, okay? It records everything that we do, learn, master, and even the ills, the diseases. And it's stored in the body, and on a physical plane, it is passed down from generation to generation. On a DNA level, there's a recording going on of everything that we do to be passed down. Even our auric field, I said this before, our auric field records. This is how and why during the life review that I've referenced or talked about in previous videos, where people have the life review, we feel everything that we've done to others. It is because the magnetics in association with our auric field, which is energetic, is carried with us, and we merge with that, and so we experience and feel what we've done from both sides of the field. So coming back to the physical level of how we inherit even the positives and the negatives of our foreparents. Again, if there's a certain mentality, culture, belief system, mastery, behavior, etc., that has been recorded in the genetics and in the DNA of our foreparents, wouldn't it automatically mean that any vessel that we come in and take on, we inherit those issues, those successes, all of those things, not just the positive, and the corresponding magnetics that come along with what we call genetics and DNA. There are magnetics connected to everything. So yes, in a sense, we are responsible for the physical vessel that we take on in the deeds of our foreparents, especially when there is a continuation of something that we are not pleased with. Now you may be asking, why would we choose to take on a vessel with a burden or imperfections? Well, the very nature of this reality is that it be imperfect, that there be mistakes. There are many, many variables and equations that we have to experience inside of the equation and variable and outside of. So those of us who are more spiritual, who have compassion, who have a soul, and who are awake, we come in to this paradigm to be pillars, anchors, seeds of change, way showers. We're supposed to come in and spiritualize the body and create a different kind of inheritance so that future generations can enjoy a physical experience, a utopian type reality. And this is what all of the religions are saying in their own unique way. So if we are in a particular tribe or group who has created some kind of despair, chaos, conflict, negativity, unfairness, inequality in the world, in any kind of way, injustice of any kind, let's do away with, well, I didn't do it, that's not my fault. Let's do away with that, and let's get into higher conscious mode and figure out what we can do to remedy, to correct, to heal the situation. That's what real humans having a human experience is supposed to be aiming for, regardless. The next thing I would like to talk about is something we're all feeling to some degree. We've been talking about a time where there will be an increase of everything negative versus everything positive. Now, you guys are talking and writing me, talking about how chaotic things seem to be, your energy levels are off. People are talking about how parallel realities are crashing and clashing with this one. We have people talking about the Mandela effect. People seem to be a lot more uptight. People seem to fly off at the slightest thing. Children are more sensitive. Animals are more sensitive. Everything is coming to a fever pitch. We are basically in a pressure cooker, metaphorically and symbolically speaking. And it's challenging. Yes, I know. So I want to point it out and explain to you guys again, or remind you guys what this is all about. This is a natural part of the transformation of the earth and humanity as a whole. Some people will resist this transformation, which would create resistance, and resistance brings more discomfort. Those of us who go along and take it in stride, we will not have the discomfort. So I'm going to give you tips on what I do to take it all into stride. Number one, what I'm doing now, just spending a day out in nature with no expectations. Just be in the moment, out in nature, and take in rays from the sun, sit in the grass, meditate, be alone with your thoughts, read a book. The next thing I'm going to recommend that you guys do is find something that you really love to do that relieves stress. Something like arts and crafts, painting. If you like to dance, put on some good music and dance. I've talked about that in the past. It's a great way of anchoring ourselves in the middle of a storm. And it's also a great way of raising our vibrations. Spend more time around your children. Spend more time around children, relatives, whomever. Children are very fun to be around, and they allow us to express the inner child in ourselves. Find things that make you laugh. Comedians, this is where you guys come in. Get a good DVD. Find a good movie that would keep you in a perpetual state of laughter and joy. The other thing that I strongly recommend is that we do periodic detox. Periodic detox, all natural detox. And I'm going to recommend something that I have never recommended on camera. Go and get a colonic. You guys will be surprised at how much having a session, a colonic session, having your colon clean with clear, pure water and helping to pull out those toxins in your gut flow would help you tremendously. I'm going to put a link under this video about colonics for those who do not know what a colonic is. But if you do not want to do a colonic, again, periodic all-natural detox for the digestive system, because this is the core. This is where the mind is. I've said this in the past. The brain is simply an interface for the spirit, ethereal, multidimensional layers of self to interface and be physical and physically interact into this world and have physical influence in this world. But the core is here, and if the core is off, no matter what is going on around us, we are off, and that is just simply going to be a mirror reflection of how we interface or interact with the reality in and around us. I think that's pretty much it. Let me see. Go in my mind. Is there anything that I'm missing? Yes, I must say. Again, y'all may get tired of me saying certain things over and over again, but there's a method behind the madness. Stop paying so much attention to what is shown on the news and in the media in general, and even on social media. There are people who will always push the negative into the forefront. It's almost like tunnel vision. If we can get enough people going out of their way to find nothing but negativity and put it before us, and we go looking for it and we keep giving attention to that, well, that's going to make our perspective of the world in and around us seem far more negative than what it is. Because just as there are a lot of negative things, unpleasant things going on, there are 5 times as many positive, progressive things going on.